Hey, Mr. Dudley. My name is Michelle Armstrong. I'm sitting here in my living room watching you on TV right there. There you are. And I'm going to pick your video apart little by little, not in a bad way, just to see if I can answer some of your questions. So your very first question was, verbatim, why is it not any female anglers coming out on the professional tour and dominating, say, like a man could?
Encouragement. This is not a bashing video. It's me going to talk through the thought process of how maybe female anglers are holding themselves back just by their thought process, or guys, I need, whatever it may be, guys, I need you.
What is the requirement? What makes a professional angler, you ask? And you do have some good points. Money can be earned and made by men and women alike. Sometimes women make more, sometimes men make more. So that's really not an obstacle. If you have money and you can pay those pro entries, then voila, you're a professional angler. Where it does make a difference with men and women are sponsorships. I've been in this industry for 30 years, and I've had some really good sponsors behind me. Some that have wanted to pay my entry fees, some have paid other things, but the majority of the time I get about a third of what my male professional anglers make. There's been plenty of times I've walked out of an event that I've stood on a concrete floor for 8 and 10 hours a day and sold product and represented and talked about fishing, not as a male or a female, but just talked fishing. And I go get my paycheck with my buddy, my male buddy, that I've worked with the entire event, and his check is double what mine is. Never been able to explain that. Help me figure that out, David. I'm going to try to keep this as verbatim as I can. I love how you talk, by the way. So the physical part, let's get real. It's just casting. Casting is muscle memory. A female angler who structures her muscles to be muscle memory for a cast. She can cast just as far as I do. And you're probably right about that. But just playing devil's advocate here, on all of our Facebook pages, we're listed as athletes. There's not a sport in this country where women and men can compete against each other on a fair field. I mean, there's no way. I'd struggle in powder puff football, much less with NFL. And if your muscle memory is that of mine, you probably need to hit the gym, David. That's not saying that I can't keep up with you and you can't keep up with me on the water. I just don't think that that part of it is a fair debate. Yeah, we can stay on the water the length of time you do. But the reality of it is male stamina is more... Stamina? Stamina. Male stamina is... it surpasses female stamina. And as a rule of thumb, men are stronger than women. Then you talk about the mental match, and you're right, we probably are all mentally matched. I'm sure there are times that you think like a woman. Then you say, it's just so puzzling to me that there's no female angler out there that has risen to the top. Where have you been? Where have you been, Mr. Dudley? When you say risen to the top, do you mean risen to the top in a male-dominant circuit, or do you just mean risen to the top? So let's not even talk about the Sugar Ferrises and the Penny Berrymans out there that paved the way for my generation. Let's just talk about my generation. There's Kim Bain-Moore. She was the first woman to compete in the Bassmaster Classic in 2008. Pamela Martin Wells, who is clearly the most achieved and accomplished female angler in the country today. What did she do? Oh, she beat half of the field in the Bassmaster Classic in 2009. Then there's Christiana Bradley, my gal pal. So she had a 4th place finish in the Southern Opens and made BASS history for the best finish ever by a woman in a co-ed BASS event. So these are women rising to the top. 2019, Michelle Armstrong right here, Rookie of the Year. Not because I'm rookie to fishing, but because I was rookie to that National Ladies Bass Angler Association circuit. and I ended up third in the points. If we're not rising to the top, then what are we doing? And by rising to the top, do you mean in your standards of fishing against you? Because we are out there and we're a force to be reckoned with. Now, can we compete against all male and win? Maybe we can't. Maybe we can. But we're not getting the same recognition as the men. I started fishing professionally with the Women's Bassmaster Tour, and we would go on the road with the men and have to fish a secondary lake to them because they didn't want us on the same lakes with them competing at the same tournament. They felt it unfair. We had camera boats following us around and camera boats following them around on a whole different lake, and we got little to no media attention. Most of it was never aired, but all of the men's side was aired. I can't explain to you why that happened. It's not a mental thing keeping us back. We're not our worst enemies. It's society and it's media. I don't understand why people wouldn't like to watch female anglers. Heck, I would like to watch a woman more than I would a man. But it's not out there. So help us figure that out, David. Help us figure out why we're not getting the same recognition as the men do.
What is it that's holding these female anglers back? I don't know. I don't.
I don't know either, David.
I don't know. I know you're out there, girl. I know you're
I'm out here. I'm out here, David.
out there somewhere.
You say, why aren't we seeing female fishermen dominate in the sport? And my answer is you are. You're just not looking in the right places. We're not getting the same media attention that you guys are. And I don't understand that either. So get behind us, David, and help us figure that out. Like, if I know you're saying you're pushing for us, and I really hope that you're sincere. I hope, like in some of the comments and stuff that I've seen on other sites, it says you're just being an a-hole and you're being condescending. And hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully you do feel passionate about this, and you do want that girl out there to dominate. But help us figure this out. Like, there's girls out here that have, myself, other people included, that have been in this sport, in this industry for years, and we can't figure it out. So, I mean, help us out, dude. Maybe it's going to take a man to figure out why we're not getting the same attention that you guys are. Do we have to fish with you to get attention? Do we have to fish with the male-dominated circuits to get the attention that we deserve? I don't think that's the case. But I don't know what the case is. So help me out, bud.
It's the intimidation factor. Get over it.
I'm not intimidated by you, David.
If it's the I don't have the money, well, get out and bust your butt and go out there and work your butt off to get your money. You know.
And I do that. I do that every day. And in some instances, I get paid less than you. Can't figure that one out.
There's a lot of ways you can make money now through social media, through YouTube, through a lot of different channels. You know, I slept in my truck. You know, anyways,
I've slept in my truck.
there's a lot of stories out there of how I got to where I'm at and how I ended up winning, as of today, $4.2 million in earnings. And I would love to see a female come out of the woodwork. So here we go.
Me too. I would like to see some female come out of the woodwork, whether it be someone who's been around for ages, whether it's someone from my generation, well, I have been around for ages, or someone new. And I really do hope that, Mr. Dudley, that you are sincere in what you're saying and that you help us get to the bottom of this, because don't think we've all been sitting around being intimidated, twiddling our thumbs, wondering why is life so unfair. We can't figure it out either. Hopefully one day, media, social, or otherwise, will see the trillions of dollars that can be made by promoting women in fishing. Here's something that confuses me, Mr. Dudley. So one of the things that you said was, come on, girl, come out here and rise to the top. I want you to join us and I want you to beat us. Why do we have to beat a man to rise to the top? Why is that an issue? Why can't we just be female fishermen and get the same glory and the same press time and the same sponsorship, the same pay as you guys do? And I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Like, it's not a he, she thing. You've said that, and I'm saying that. But why do we have to compete against you for it to mean anything? We compete against each other just like you guys compete against each other. We rise to the top on our own circuits. We win. I've had an Angler of the Year just like you did. I think I got mine in my 40s too. You said you were 44. I think I might have been 40-ish, 8 maybe. I don't know. Don't want to date myself. But anywho, why do we have to compete against you to be recognized? Like, help me understand that. So I'm going to circle back around to the money sponsorship thing one more time. I have lots of women, mostly young women, come up to me and say, how do you get a sponsor? And of course I tell them, like a man would tell another man, you got to, put yourself out there. You got to have a resume. You have to build a resume, fish tournaments, do well, let them know you're going to represent well. Because a lot of times it's not even about your fishing ability or that you're winning. It's about representing the company that is backing you. And since 1999, when I started professionally fishing, I've had a bunch of sponsors back me in a very positive way. Some of it was equipment, some of it was money. However, I did have several sponsors, and we're not going to bash them and say who they are, that told me that they were not going to sponsor me. I had one sponsor in particular that is one of the largest bait companies in the country. And the man said to my face, honey, we will never fully sponsor a woman. That's just not out there. We're not going to do it. And I don't know of any company in this industry that would. That was a big slap in the face, especially during that time because I was on top of the world in my women's fishing. I was doing really well. It's a downer when you're told that as a woman to your face. Now, as karma often works out, about 2 years later, he lost his job and he was replaced by a woman. So I'm totally grateful that you made this video, and I hope that you get lots of comments, positive and otherwise. I encourage women everywhere who fish, want to fish, or are even thinking about fishing to respond to this video. Respond to each and every question that he asks so that maybe accumulatively we can figure out why we're not making the money that they're making, why we're not getting the attention that they're getting, why people like me who are, I'm pretty well known on the in the ladies industry. I might have some huge backing with big sponsors, and I don't get the notoriety that some of the guys get for doing the same thing. So maybe if we all put our heads together, we can figure this out and we can kumbaya, live together and compete together. And, even if we still have our separate male-female competitions, that we can get some of the same notoriety that the guys do. So let's see if we can figure this out. Have a good day.